weekly show. How are you today? Man, fantastic people coming in already so early. Great to see you. I'm Brandon Dempsey of worshipteamtraining.com. How are you on this fantastic Thursday morning? What's up, Lucy? And then Mr. CO, Ernie Perry, what's going on Periscope? Great friends of ours right now. And who else do we have on board with us today? Let's go ahead and do some shout outs. And if you would, go ahead and swipe and invite. If this is your first time to the broadcast, we say, hey, welcome. And thank you for joining us. It's great to have you. How are you guys doing today? Great friends on Periscope Live and also Facebook Live. What is up? Hope you guys are having a great Thursday. And we are about to start. So let's get this thing going. How are you guys? Good morning and welcome back. I'm Brandon Dempsey with the Worship Team Training Weekly Show. And man, it is Thursday and we're ready to rock. How about you? We got some fantastic folks coming in. You guys have been following us on Snapchat. I've been kind of leaking some stuff out, just a little bit about things coming up. So glad that you guys are doing good. Lucy, good to see you. Great that you're doing well. And how about everybody else today? What's going on Facebook Live? What is up? Got some fantastic folks coming in. And if you guys would, please go ahead and swipe and invite if you're watching by Periscope, Facebook Live. Just hit the share button. D-Lady Dion is up and in the house here on Periscope. And how about you? You guys listen to us also by our podcast, audio feed, and Spreaker. You guys following us. Thanks so much for that. You guys are loved. And man, it's great to be back. I hope that how's your new year going so far, everybody? Worship teams, worship leaders. So go ahead and use the comment box window right now to type in and share your response. Let us know what's going on. And I'll just take a little bit to introduce today's episode. Again, my name is Brandon Dempsey, and I'm a follower of Jesus and the CEO of worshipteamtraining.com. And what do we do? Glad you asked. We do 1- and 2-day workshops, either live by video or in person. And we come to your church providing a hands-on practical workshop just for your worship team, highly customized to fit your needs. Also, we have a mentoring program for worship leaders, pastors, audio tech, musicians, singers. And you can check all that good stuff out at worshipteamtraining.com/mentoring. And again, also /workshops. Awesome. Crystal Renee, good friend on Periscope. What's up, Crystal? How are you today? And who else do we have coming on? Glad you guys are here. So also, subscribe to us by our iTunes channel and also by Spreaker if you haven't yet already. Hello, Crystal. Awesome. And when do we air? Thursdays at 11 a.m. But that's going to be changing. So I want you to be up on that because we got some new stuff coming. I got big news I'm going to be sharing in just a little bit. So I want to make sure that you catch all the stuff because it's coming up fast. And who these broadcasts are for, again, the broadcasts like this, Periscope, Facebook Live, our podcasts, our audio, iTunes, out to all you, worship leaders and teams, pastors, musicians, singers, audio tech. Glad you guys are with us today. So, again, I asked the question, before I jump into the big news, how's your 2017 going so far? Is it right where you thought it would be? Maybe a step or two behind? Maybe those resolutions that you thought you made back in December are kind of just around the corner, but not quite there yet, Brandon. I'm going to get to those tomorrow. Or maybe you started those yesterday. But wherever you are, hey, we can always hope that God encourages us and presses in us to persevere. And if you've been following us on Snapchat, that's what I've been talking about all this past week. Our Snapchat address is WorshipTT. That's WorshipTT. Follow us, we'll follow you back. It's just that easy. And you'll find exclusive content there. And also you'll find more exclusive content on our closed Facebook group, which is our Worship Team Training exclusive group for worship leaders. All right, you can find that on the links on our Facebook site and also our webpage, worshipteamtraining.com. All right, here we go. To be up on the news, all right, with what's happening, what's going on. Mishak Williams, what's up, Bubba? On Facebook Live, and Kevin Barnett, good friend, how are you, bro? Great to see you on Facebook Live as well. Man, glad you guys are with us. Hey, don't miss a beat. Ethel, what's up? She's watching. What's up, Ethel? How you doing? Don't miss a beat about catching up with worshipteamtraining.com. All the big news and all the big stuff I want to be talking about in just a minute. You can get all and everything of more than what you want to know if you go to our worshipteamtraining.com/e-news. Ethel, what's up? And you can get the weekly digest. We were a little bit slow on that this week because we got some, trust me, we got some things cooking that I really think you're going to enjoy. I know you're going to enjoy it, and it's just going to be freeing. It's going to be happy. I can't wait. I'm excited. So check this out too. I mentioned before when I went on the broadcast through Snapchat and also our exclusive worship leader group on Facebook. If you've been following us on Bible.com, guys, thanks for that. We have now all of our 10 devotionals in both English and in Spanish. So you have no excuse unless if you don't speak either of those languages. But if you go to Bible.com/worship team training, actually it's worship TT, Bible.com/worship TT, you'll see all of our devotionals there, but you'll also be seeing a link that will take you to our brand new friends that I am so happy and proud to introduce, our friends over at Logos Bible's Faith Life. And Faith Life Groups is a brand new thing that we're doing, and I'm so jazzed, I'm so pumped about what's happening because they actually have a platform in which we can do Bible studies. And unlike some of their other folks out there that are doing the same thing, you can actually hold Bible studies and have more content than what you normally would have on other Bible sites. So I can post my notes, I can post Bible studies and passages of what I've been noting and highlighting. I mean, you see my highlights on Bible.com, but you can see the comments, but you can't do a full Bible study. So what we've done for you on faithlife.com/worship team training, you will see our entire Bible studies that we put out probably 2 or 3 times a week. So it's really, really cool. It's free, and you're going to get some new stuff there as well. And then also, here is the big, big news that you've been waiting for. I can't wait. Are you ready? Periscope, Facebook Live, podcast. Oh, this is so great. I can't wait. All right, so we are taking the next step. And this next step has been huge. We have a lot of people that have worked on this throughout the years. Okay? Years. And I'm so happy to introduce to you Worship Team Training University. This is going to be launching in just the next few weeks, and you need to get in now, and I'll tell you why. Because you're going to be experiencing deeper and greater content than what you have already at worshipteamtraining.com. We're going to have more videos, more articles, more posts, but they're all going to be exclusive, so you're not going to find them on the regular worshipteamtraining.com site or on any of our socials. We're going to be taking more topics and craft them to be deeper for training and education purposes just for your worship team. You're going to have top articles, top videos and shows just like this. Also, you're going to have more inductive video training. Plus, we have a new high definition volume series of training for worship leading and worship teams and leadership and worship. Also, you have access to our webinars monthly because those are only going to be offered on the site as well. Also, we're going to be doing live interviews with other worship teams and worship leaders. So I cannot wait because you're going to get all this awesome stuff. What's up, Stephen Paul, Facebook Live? You're going to get all this awesome stuff for $1 as an entry-level trial period. $1 is all it's going to take. And if you like it, then you keep it. And then after that, we have 3 different programs that you can choose from, starting at like $5 a month, the cost of a latte a month. And then the next step is like the cost of a download for music. The next would be like a download for something else for the whole year. So it turns out to be like, I mean, you're talking dollars. And the reason why we're able to offer this price so low and have such great high content is because we've created all this content over all these years and we keep adding to it. And I will tell you, this university program has been something that we've been planning for over the past 7 years. It's been a very long and very hard undertaking because there's a lot of content that we're going to be releasing a little bit at a time as we go. But once you get into it, it's all going to be there. Plus, in the exclusive part of the membership, you get a mentoring one-on-one session monthly with me that's built into the program. So, I mean, either way, if you go with the $5 plan or you go with the $10 a month plan, or I think there's like a $19 a month plan as well. But you price it out for the year. I mean, $47 for a year. I mean, that's nothing, really. I mean, to get all this great content. So I've already put out the links right now, and that link is worshipteamtraining.com/university. Again, worshipteamtraining.com/university. Go to that link. We're not enrolling yet. It's a waiting list to get on to this program. So once we launch the site, you'll be the first to know through submitting your email address. And on top of it, you get a 50% enrollment discount. Hey, I mean, we love making things easy and fun for you. So, hey, that's what you get. So anyway, check all that stuff back out at worshipteamtraining.com/university. Let's get on with the show, shall we? We got a lot to talk about. Have you ever thought about maybe taking 5? I mean, really, we dive into 2017, right? We're trying to fix our New Year's resolutions for leading ministry, leading worship. I've been meeting with a lot of different worship leaders over this past week. I've spoken with those that, sad to say, I don't mean to start this on a down note, but I've spoken with those who are looking for new employment. I've also been speaking with churches that are looking for worship leaders. So if that interests you, just contact me, and you can go to Brannon, BRANON, at worshipteamtraining.com. Let me know. But there are churches that are looking. There are worship leaders that are looking as well. And as I've been speaking with both sides of the fence, if you will, the one thing I keep hearing is, Brannon, I am so run down. We are so busy at what we're doing that we just need to take time to stop and breathe. Is that you? Do you feel like that? I know for me it's like that. I mean, my family right now are like back and forth from being sick. At the same time, we've been traveling. We come back. I got another travel schedule coming up throughout this winter. By the way, Brooklyn, New York, we're coming to you, and also Georgia, Atlanta, Rhode Island. We got some fantastic cities. I mean, wow. But even before I think about all that, my heart, my mind is, okay, God, you got this in front of me, great things to do, but where am I? Most of all, where am I with you? That's the whole point. So when we talk about leading worship, we have to be taking 5. So I thought about, Dave Brubeck, one of my most favorite jazz composers and artists. If you listen to jazz or bebop, you'll find Dave Brubeck, and he's a piano player, fantastic music. It's very artistic, very metric. I love it. I love it. Tony Guerrero, who's on our show on the Hangouts, is a huge fan, and he does jazz as well. But one of my favorite tunes from Dave Brubeck is Take 5. The reason why is because the time signature is in 5/4, so it throws you off by one beat, but in a weird musical sense and kind of math, it works out perfect. It's just a great balance. And if you heard the tune, you may recognize it from different commercials, and people have used it. I'm not doing a show on this. We're actually going to be covering some different music. This We Know by Vertical Church. But thanks, Niski. What's up? How are you doing? Glad to see you here on Periscope. I love Dave Brubeck. I love jazz because I've studied a lot of music. It's in my training. I've done everything from rock and roll to orchestral to jazz. And what I love about jazz music is because a lot of our originations of contemporary pop, blues, country, gospel, all comes from a jazz background. And the more and more that you can discipline yourself with your voice and instrument and study different genres, you will find a treasure wealth of musical knowledge. All right. So I'm going to share some of those things with you today, because when I start thinking about taking 5, it's not only about the skill of where I can take 5 minutes to develop it, but where's my 5 minutes with the Lord? So I'm going to bring you through it right now. And yes, we're going to be talking about the song This We Know, written by Jason Ingram and Christian Stanfield. Awesome song. I love the song. Thank you, Six Steps Music and worshiptogether.com for allowing us to share the music with our folks and with your folks here. So This We Know, Vertical Church Band. I put the link up on the site, and also you'll find it on today's post, worshipteamtraining.com/take5. So I have Logic Pro loaded up right here, and I'll just play like a little bit of it for you. And what I love, this is by Scott Hussey at guidetracks.co is where you can find this track. So check it out. We're going to hear just a little bit of it. It's in the key of B. And the chart is up on the side as well. Playing along here. The chorus. All right.
Verse 2, 3.
Okay, so awesome song. I love the music. I love the lyrics of it. Let's talk about that real quick, and then I want to jump to the 5 things. So as we talk about you are who you say you are, this we know. I mean, that's just right, cut clear from Scripture. That is the reason why we worship God, is because of who He is, not because of us, what we've done. Like I've said in many articles and posts before, worship does not begin with us, it begins with God. It begins and ends with God. That's the whole truth. So we believe in who He says He is. We believe in what He says that He does, what He will do, what He is doing, right? And He will always be who He's always been to us, Jesus. And I love that because it's never changing. He's never changing. The lyric talks about our hope. And then it goes into this awesome chorus of this we know. And then we will see the enemy run. I mean, this is like a declaration of God's power working through you when you're leading worship. I mean, do you really declare the words that you sing? The words that are off the sheet, do they come alive? Or do they just stay in the black and white? This is what I love about great songwriting. Christian Stanfield, Jason Ingram, just fantastic way of art, just bringing art to the balance of lyric and theology and making things work together. It's not always that you find great songs that have these quality features into it. But the song goes on to talk about in the chorus how we hold on to every promise, all that He's ever made. Jesus, you're unfailing, you're unfailing. I love that. So Jesus is our anchor. Again, you can find this track at guidetracks.co. So let's talk about that. I've opened up this article in Today with talking about how, yes, worship leaders want their teams to be equipped, but they also know that there's a proven way to lead worship, but it doesn't start with music. Even as great as this music is, it starts with what? It starts with the heart. It starts with God, as I said before, because your church can't follow you. Your church cannot follow you in worship if you're not first being led by God. Plain and simple. I know that as I was opening up the broadcast saying, have you taken 5 minutes? If I haven't taken those few minutes to pray, set myself before God, ask Him to fill me with humility, to cast out and purge me from all my sins, all my unconfessed sins. That's a new thing. That's a new thing too. My unconfessed sins, the things that are in your mind and heart that maybe you're not bringing to the surface. All those things Jesus desires. When I find myself right before leading worship and I think, man, or even like before these shows that I do, I'm always thinking, racing my brain of, okay, what next? I got to get this done too. But then I have to stop and remember, who is this really for? Who is it really glorifying? What is the purpose? And then what role has God given me to play into that? Have you asked yourself that question before you lead worship, before you go out? I mean, we're talking about how if we're becoming healthy and we want to really grow, this is where it starts. So that's why I find the song to be so important, because Jesus' love that's so unfailing, he desires to grow within us. So let's go to point number 1. Walk in worship. What do I mean by that? Walk in worship. Just like you do when you find yourself, you ever do this throughout your day? You kind of like self-talk. Teresa, what's up on Facebook Live? Sorry, folks. I just get excited. And our very own Barry Westman coming in. Thanks so much, Barry. So here's the deal. When we're walking in worship daily, what does that mean? Have you ever thought about that? Instead of walking around your day thinking, talking to yourself, saying, "Yeah, I need to do this," and okay, I gotta talk to this person. Man, I wish this really worked out. Or there's so much traffic on the freeway. How about turn what's called that self-talk into God talk? What I do is throughout the day, I've made this a habit, a very conscious effort to include the Lord in my thought life. And that means if I'm going through traffic, it's not just the Lord help me get there. I don't want to use God to be my reason or excuse of breaking through traffic, because then that's me, not His fault. But I do pray, like, Lord, okay, teach me to be patient when that person just cut me off. Things like that, right? But getting to a more serious note, when you're going through your day and you're thinking about, wow, how's this going to work out? And there's this over here and that over there. Instead of doing that, maybe just turning that self-talk to prayer and saying, God, I know this is there, but I need your help. Lord, I don't know how this is going to work out, but you do. Jesus, I can't see through the fog, but you can. And before you know it, you find yourself praying subconsciously. It's almost like, as we just said, Jesus, you are unfailing. His love is so unfailing. No matter where we go, He's always with us. We're always with Him. We're never apart from Him. Psalms 138, 139. We were made and formed to be close to God. We were formed in His image. Genesis 1. Genesis 3. When you look through the passages of the Old Testament and bridging to the New Testament and seeing the completion of what's called the covenant and the fulfillment, there's so much life in it. How can you ignore it? It's like Christians saying, well, I just only read the New Testament because the Old Testament is not foundational anymore. Oh, that's so untrue. Because, the New Testament was written by the Old Testament. It was the foundation. That's how we get worship, is from the Old Testament. It goes hand in hand. If you haven't studied that before, I invite you to do that. And when you do, go to faithlife.com/worship team training. Anyway, walk in worship. I find the more and more that as I celebrate God's daily acts of the way that He spins creation into motion, the way that I see my children during the day and evening hours, the way that I hold my wife's hand at night during the day, things that we do at church and how we lead our congregations, how I meet with my pastor, even when I'm driving through traffic or if I'm in the grocery store. Every moment is a blessing. Every moment is worth to give thanks to God, because He is the one. It's not the lights, it's not the stage, it's not the look, it's not the sound, the talent, the mix, or the gear, right? It's all about what the Lord is doing through you in that moment and in your people. And so before we lead our churches in worship, we have to be there ourselves. Mel, what's up? How are you? Thanks for that, Mel. By the way, if you guys would, please type in and let me know. I'm so sorry. Right, one of those things, right? I didn't say introduce yourself. Please do that. If you're new for the first time, type in your name, the city or country where you're from. Do that on Periscope or Facebook Live. And if you're family, type in fam so we know who everybody is. And also, you can do the same thing by interacting on our podcast. If you're listening live right now as we're recording audio, you can also type in the comment box window there, and we'll be sure to see it. So good. So let's do this. Mel, thanks so much. Awesome to see you. Walk in worship was number 1. Number 2 is step in the song. So not just memorizing the song, not just practicing the song, rehearsing the song, but step in the song. My friend and instructor, mentor over here at Worship Team Training, Rick Muchow, said this once: singing is breathing. Singing is breathing. I find that to be so true, even going through my own day, because when I'm walking in the song, it's like It is like breathing and singing. It's combined. It's walking in prayer. Awesome. Teresa, she's from Pennsylvania. I had no idea you're from Pennsylvania. Teresa, thanks for that. Very good. So let me just ask you guys, what does that mean to you when I say step in the song? And when we say, like Rick said, singing is breathing. How do they go hand in hand? Have you ever thought about that? So I just ask you the question, how do you step in the song? How do you step in the song? All right, and as you type in your responses in the comment box window, I'm just going to keep on right here to our next point, number 3, walk in skill. So it's not just in song, not just in spirit, right? But it's also the Lord working through our skill. That's where we find real training, right? It's by the Holy Spirit. So being called a worship musician has a great amount of responsibility. It's commitment, determination, quality, but it's also prioritizing the important over the urgent. It's learning how to keep the main thing the main thing. In other words, when you're in your practice time at home, well, that's a question. Do you practice at home? Is that maybe one of your 2017 resolutions or revelations that you're, oh man, yeah, I need to practice, all right? So when you are faced in your practice time, prioritize what you do. And I'm going to go deeper about this when you join Worship Team Training University, because I'm going to teach you actually how to practice, all right? We do a lot of deeper things there, so I can't wait when the university program launches, you'll know about it. So again, remember to sign up, don't forget. So practice. Prioritize what you practice, not just, well, I'm going to go in and sing some scales and sing a song for 10 minutes and then I gotta watch one of my reality favorite shows or get back on Facebook or whatever. I mean, prioritize what you're doing and prioritize the songs, prioritize the treble spots. All those things make a huge difference. And then when you go over them over and over and over again, you're practicing skill. You're preparing for what God's called you to do. So number 4, step in rehearsal. So see how this all fits together? You're walking in worship throughout the week. You're stepping in song throughout your day. You're walking in skill by how you practice. And now you're stepping in rehearsal. Let's get this right. Rehearsal time is not practice time. No matter what anybody tells you or how they may shirk it off. When you gather with your team for rehearsal, you are only wasting everybody else's time when you don't know the music and you decide to practice then and there. Don't ask people, how does this song go, or I can't remember. Because why? Well, honestly, it's a disservice to everybody else who maybe have taken their time to practice or prepare or to get to rehearsal early. And it's not wrong to ask questions. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that me being as a leader even, if I walk in to my team and say, all right, guys, I don't know what we're doing this week, so we're just going to pick 3 songs, I'm wasting everybody's time because I didn't prepare the music ahead of time. I didn't select the right songs. I didn't select keys. I didn't select songs that maybe the team knows or maybe new songs that they want to do. And if I just go in there and wing it, then I am disservicing their priority to be there. Now let's get this straight. Your worship team members, when they show up at rehearsal, it's because of you. It's not just because they enjoy playing music, but they're there because you're there. And you have to value their time over yours. If you don't, you start losing people, and also you start losing effectiveness to what God has already called you to do. So make everything that you do in rehearsal professional with humility and skill. And as you do that, that will be witnessed by the church when you lead worship. So that's the 5th thing. Walk in heart. Undivided means concentrated or devoted completely to one object. That's what the word undivided means. Of course, that one object is God. Serving with an undivided heart is to serve the Lord in bringing all that we have as a living sacrifice, Romans 12:1. And when we practice this constant presence with God throughout the week, again, we talked about walk in worship, step in the song, walk in skill, step in rehearsal, walk in heart. Then throughout the whole week, we are walking really in the presence of God. And it's no longer well, I got to get my worship mode on, or I got to get my praise on. It's not that kind of thing that we just turn a switch and it's on. And if that does happen, I really question the authenticity of that switch and of that mode, because it's got to be lived. It can't just be flipped. That's the difference. And so some have been asking me this past week, well, what are some magic, like not magic, but golden nuggets that I can do to instantly change the worship of our church? It doesn't happen that way. It starts as a process in you and me first. And if we're not the ones leading that front and living it daily, but yet we just kind of treat worship and leading our team and leading church, we kind of treat it as a secondary or like a once a week kind of deal, then that's all it will be. And then you can't expect anything to become greater if you're not putting great things in it and you're not allowing the great things of God to work through you to make those things happen. So this is my encouragement to you. It takes a team, and that team starts with you. So in closing, your team will be influenced by your example. Even if you can't find time to practice, you know what? Then maybe you need to rethink about your position in the team or in being a leader of worship. I know that I can make 20 different excuses of why I don't need to practice. But every time I do, I'm ignoring the truth and the reality of why I really do need to practice, because I'm setting that example for everybody else. So I have to create time that's not there. That's how I do it. And you may think, yeah, but Brandon, you don't know my day. I don't do music like you do all day long. Well, you know what? There's no comparison here, because even with what I do, it's just as like everybody else. We're all working. We all do things for a living. We're all busy. We're all full of excuses. But how far is that going to go until you start hitting the music stand and your iPad and pulling up a chart with your instrument and voice and getting it done? It's got to happen with you, and you got to create that time now. It's not a, well, I'll do it later when I think about it. No, because if you really care about what you're doing, you will do it now. Sorry, I'm just fired up. Crystal, what's up? No excuses. So yeah, it's about creating the time that's not there. My wife and I talk about this from time to time. We're like, gosh, this weekend's so busy. I don't know how we're going to do this. And then we realize by speaking with one another, we have to create the time that's not there. And yeah, it's going to take hard work. And yeah, it's not going to be pleasant. But as we create space and we find God working in it, wow. I mean, it takes on a new meaning. Crystal says, I always say if you can be watching your favorite TV show or Facebook, you can make time. For the important things, absolutely, yeah. So, get off of Facebook. And 10 minutes that you can be spending on Facebook, you could be using that time to practice the scale or going through that one chord, And I know that all of us are like, no, Brian, I don't want to do that. It hurts, or you're hurting my brain. Sorry, I'm not trying to inflict the pain right now to your head, but I'm telling you critically, this is just honest talk, and these are the things that needs to happen. So I'm encouraging you that as you start stepping in, let's recap real quick, walking in worship with God and being turning your self-talk into God talk. Number 2, step in the song, become one, singing is breathing, as Rick Machel said, but walking in prayer throughout your day. Sing your prayers to God. 3, walk in skill. Find the time, prepare, take responsibility of what you're doing, and show that, model that to others. When you step into rehearsal, number 4, your rehearsal time is not practice time, so get with it. Show professional will with humility. Number 5, walk in heart, undivided. This is something that you have to be as a team, undivided between your heart and attitude and everybody else's. You check your ego at the door before you hit the stage or before you hit the pew, even if you're not leading worship or participating on the team for that Sunday. You are still a leader. Why? Because your church knows who you are and they're still looking at your example. So be the team. Look, if you want to go deeper with this stuff, we do this for you. You can find our workshops that we can come to your church on a 1 or 2 day event or by video like you're seeing right now. Also our mentoring program and our brand new worship team training university, which is going to be launching soon in the next few So you need to get on the list right now and find out so that way you can join it. Look, you guys are fantastic. I love y'all. Continue to follow us, worshipteamtraining.com. Get us on Snapchat, and that's worshiptt, and follow all of our socials. You guys are great. Teresa, thank you so much for the good word on Facebook Live, and Crystal Renee, love you. And we're going to have some guest interviews coming up soon. A lot of great stuff coming, so you got to sign up now. worshipteamtraining.com/university. And we'll see you guys back next Thursday with some bigger news. So anyway, until then, may God's blessings flow to you and your worship team, and we'll see you guys very soon. Love you. Bye.